today we're here at the tile store and we are going to be doing an experiment by testing out the different types of tile materials like porcelain, ceramic, marble, and quartz. First, we're going to start with doing a scratch test to see how durable the tiles are against scratching. Then we're going to be doing another test by spilling black Italian breakfast coffee and leaving it overnight to see how the tiles stain. And if they do stain, let's see how exactly do they stain. We're going to try to smash them and see how easy or difficult it is to break the tiles. So this is going to be a very interesting video. I myself am very interested to see what happens with these tiles. I already know approximately what is going to happen to the certain types of tile materials, but I know for you guys, you want to make sure you're buying the right tiles. So let's not waste any more time. We have a lot of tiles to choose from. Let's shop around and choose something so that we can do this experiment on. Okay, so we have the first tile right here. We're gonna get this one. I think these ones would actually be a pretty nice one because we're gonna like kind of put a tape in here. We're gonna put water on this side and water here. I usually know that marble tiles stain pretty easily, so we're gonna see exactly how do these stain and if it actually goes into the tile permanently. So let's put this in the carts. All right, so we have the first tile right here in the cart. Let's shop around because of course we do need to buy porcelain tiles, ceramic tiles, and also a quartz piece. So let's keep going. All right, we found the second tile. This is a 12 by 24 porcelain tile. This is great design. We actually installed this one for our client. It actually turned out really nice. So let's put this in the carts. All right, so here we have the third piece. This is the ceramic tile. And actually I already have the quartz piece at home. So that's all that I need. So we got these three tiles. We're just gonna keep looking around to see if we can get anything better or anything more. But if not, we're gonna go check out and we're gonna start the experiment. So actually I'm gonna buy this one as well because I know with these black ones, they leave a lot of fingerprints. Even if you drop water on here and you leave it, it's gonna leave a little bit of a stain, not like a permanent one, but you're gonna see it. So I wanna show you guys what is gonna happen to this one here. Okay, so we have all the tiles that we need. So now we're gonna go check out and we're gonna start the experiment.
All right, you're all set up.
Thank you, you too. So we have everything set up here. If you take a closer look here, we have matte porcelain. So this is the matte black porcelain. We have marble tile right here. We have quartz, we have porcelain, and we also have ceramic. This is also matte finish. This one here is a glossy finish. So we have two different types of porcelain finishes. One is matte, the other one is glossy. So we're gonna start with pouring some water on one side and then some coffee on the other side to see how it absorbs. Especially with the marble, this is going to be the one where it's more natural. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with these tile materials, and hopefully this will help you guys with choosing your next tile. So like I said, we're just going to start today with the coffee and water, and after 24 hours we are going to come back and see what it did to these tiles. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a scratch test on all of these tiles and see how the surface scratches. And then lastly, like I said, we are going to be breaking these tiles and seeing how easy or hard it is for them to break. So you guys will be able to compare all of these materials and see which one is more durable. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into it. We are going to start with the water here. This is just tap water, so it'll be the same kind of water as you would have in the shower. So we're going to pour just a little bit over here. Not too much, that's all it needs to be. Next one here, we're going to do porcelain. Then we have quartz, marble right here. Let's do a little bit more. There we go. And then matte porcelain. And as you can see already, the matte porcelain has a lot of like dust here. It's a little bit dirty. So this is the thing that I was talking about in the store when we were choosing this tile. You're just going to be able to see the fingerprints and everything like that. Anything that is white, you will be seeing here. So that's one of those things. But we will see if it leaves any watermarks from this water tomorrow. Now let's get into the coffee. So we have black coffee right here, and we are going to be pouring it on this side. All right, porcelain tile, quartz, marble, and lastly, porcelain. Let's just do it somewhere aside here. Hopefully it doesn't blend in, but I guess I forgot to put a tape, but that's okay. We can manage without it. So this is what we have for now. We're gonna let this sit for 24 hours. We're gonna come back tomorrow and see what the damage here is. So it's been 24 hours since you guys saw the last clip. And now it is time to see what the damage is to all these tiles. So as you can see, all of it is all dry now. Nothing is wet. It's all either absorbed into the tile or it evaporated. So let's start from this side right here. We have the ceramic tile. So we can just remove this and see the difference between the water and the coffee. So maybe you guys can see from a different angle, but here, as you can see, there's just a little spot right there of the water, but it is not bad at all. And this is what happened to the ceramic tile. However, here we have the coffee. Next one here, we have the porcelain tile. So let's remove this tape. And this is the difference between the water and the coffee. Obviously, like I said, the water, it's really hard to see, but I can see it a little bit from this angle here as the light is shining on here. But this is how the coffee looks like on this tile. As you can see, it is much more visible here on the porcelain glossy tile than it is on the ceramic matte tile. The next one here, we have quartz. So let's remove this tape. Once again, you can't really see a watermark on here. It's really hard to tell. You can only see it on a certain angle of lighting. Like maybe from this side, I can see it a little bit. However, you can see a lot of the coffee stain on here, so it's a little bit more than the ceramic matte tile like I just showed you guys in the beginning. Now we have the fun part, the marble tile, and just you can see already what happened to this tile. A lot of the coffee actually absorbed into this tile. And yes, you can use a cleaner to clean this off. However, we're comparing just coffee on here for 24 hours versus you actually using the shower for many years, which the water is in that case going to get really absorbed to this tile, especially if you have a little water. Okay, so let's remove the tape. And here is where the water was. Here's where the coffee was. And you can actually see how much it absorbed into there. We're going to clean all of these off with a wet rag to see what actually comes off and how much stain there is actually behind it. And when the water is actually still fresh on the marble tile, I was actually able to see it get a little bit wet in there and stain a little bit. But now as it dried off, you can't really see any stain over here. And here we have the last tile, the porcelain tile. This is the matte black finish. Like I was saying earlier, it's going to leave a lot of any kind of stain on here, any kind of watermark or footprints you're going to be able to see on here. And that is exactly what happened with the coffee and the water. You can see so much of this. Of course, we are going to be able to clean this off. If you are going to be walking with your bare feet or just even with your shoes, you're going to see so much footprints here. A lot of watermarks if you do come in from, for example, the weather outside, like maybe it's snowing or raining, it's going to leave a lot of it on the matte black finish. So this is once again something that you really have to take into consideration when choosing this kind of tile. So now we have this wet rag here and we are going to just see how much of it actually comes off. And there's the ceramic tile, so it didn't really leave any stains, but this is pretty much what I was expecting on here. This is a really durable tile. We'll come in for the final round to do the scratch test and then ultimately the break test to see how durable they are against breaking. Next one is the porcelain tile. Let's see what happens when we try to take it off. And this is what we have. So once again, nothing really stained on here. And you can see this is a really durable tile once again. Next one, we have the quartz tile. So this is going to be an interesting one to see. Maybe I can turn it over. And as you can see, take a look at this, guys. You can actually see some staining here. So this is what's going to happen with the quartz material. It's also a material that can absorb things. So for this instance, with the black coffee, it absorbed it. And yes, if you use a cleaner, you can probably clean it, but just cleaning it off like this, it's not actually removing the stain. So you can see that big dark spot. And now the next tile, the marble tile. Let's see what we can actually do with this one. And obviously, as you can see, this is by far the worst one. And if you take a look on the side, you can actually see how deep it actually went into the tile. So this is going to be pretty bad. Like I said, you can buy a cleaner and try to clean it with a cleaner with a powerful chemical. However, with many years of using the shower, it's just going to get really bad and you're not going to have nice looking tile for a really long time. So something that you have to take into consideration with this kind of tile, just know that it's going to leave a lot of stains and it's not going to be very durable for the shower. And lastly, we have the matte porcelain tile. So let's fold the rag and see if we can clean it off. All right, so it is now a little bit wet, so it's hard to see, but we were able to clean it off. This is also going to be a pretty durable tile against staining, against all those things, because this tile is not going to really absorb any kind of substance. So what we saw after cleaning all these tiles from the water and especially the coffee, the ones that really got a lot of stains was the quartz one and especially the marble one right here. Let's remove this and see. Yeah, so you can obviously see a lot of stains right here, and this is going to be a huge issue, especially for the shower. And I know that spilling coffee in the shower isn't really a realistic situation. However, what I'm doing here is actually just comparing all of these materials to see which one ultimately is durable. And of course, you can get this material, this material, this material as a countertop material. So that's something that you can compare as well. If you get marble countertops, this is exactly what's going to happen. I know the thickness is a little bit thinner, obviously, than an actual countertop material. However, this is the kind of material you would see at a countertop. And the most popular one nowadays is quartz. But now it is time to see the scratch test. We have this knife here, and we are going to start with the ceramic tile to see if it scratches or not. All right, so let's start it. So I'm not using maximum pressure here. You do have a little bit of a darker gray scratch here, but it's not actually a scratch that went deep into the tile. And that's the nice thing. You can rub this out, clean it a little bit, and it'll be perfect like new. It is really durable against scratching, so that's a really nice thing about this tile. Next one we have here, the porcelain one. And once again, it leaves a little bit of a gray scratch here, but it's not actually going into the tile. So this is also going to be a really durable one. However, something that you have to note is that this can leave a lot of swirl marks. So if you do have lights above the shower and you do scratch it, it is going to show a little bit of swirl marks. So just be aware with this one. Next one, we have the quartz. And as you can see with the quartz, it actually goes into the material, so it leaves a deep scratch that you can actually feel. So it's not just like with this one where it's a surface scratch. This one actually goes deep into the material. The next one, we have the marble tile. And once again, it's really similar with the quartz one. It leaves a really deep scratch that you can see. I'm going to go really light on this one just over here. So you can see here, it leaves a really deep scratch. And especially for countertop material, if you use marble, it is not going to be really good because it's a very sensitive and very not durable stones. And now we can see that the porcelain matte tile actually is now dry. I'm just rubbing this a little bit with my dusty hand and leave so much white dust on here. Okay, so now let's scratch this one. It leaves a similar scratch like the porcelain and the ceramic tile. And this one is going to be one that you can rub off a little bit. It's not actually going deep into the tile. However, it's going to be much harder to rub this one out and polish it and buff it out to make it look really good and like new. This is a matte finish where it will leave so much footprints, a lot of fingerprints, a lot of stains and watermarks. So you really want to be careful with this one. So it is now time for the final test to break these tiles to see how easy or difficult it is to break them. So we have this hammer here. We're going to start with the ceramic tile. I'm going to use the same amount of force for all these tiles so that you guys can see what happens to them. And just like that, it cracked really easily. I really didn't use a lot of pressure on here for it to crack, so it separated these two tiles. So now let's see what happens to the porcelain tile when I use the same amount of force. Same amount of force, and it cracked as well very easily. Now let's do the quartz material. So it took me 2 tries of the same equal force for it to crack. And what I was able to see from this tile to this tile to this tile is it got a little bit harder for it to crack. It's the same amount of force for all of these, but I can feel this one cracked much easier. So if I used less force for this one, it would crack much quicker than it would for this one. Also, you can see the thickness size. It is much thicker. Also, as contractors, from experience, we know that the ceramic tile is actually much easier to cut because it's a much softer material than it is to cut porcelain. When we cut porcelain, it's very heavy, it's very solid, so it is much harder to cut this one. All right, next one we have the marble tile. So it took me 3 tries. However, you can see there's a crack that formed here. It's an internal crack, so it's not actually a crack that separated 2 pieces, but we're gonna try to separate them just like that. Very easy to separate them. But let's see what happens when I hit it again. All right, so you can see this little internal crack. It's one that's very visible. However, it's not a total crack like this one. But now I will take this and try to separate it just like that. And you can see this is a very crumbly stone, so it's very easy to chip this one. And that's why from the factory, it comes with really chipped edges right here. And this is going to be natural. This is how it is with marble tile. So it is okay to see this. So if you prefer that kind of chipped edge and you don't really care about the total details, this is the one that you might like. And now the last one, matte porcelain tile. Let's see what happens to this one. Same exact thing as we saw with basically all of these except for this one. And this one, it cracked pretty easily. So what we were able to see when we cracked all of these tiles is that this one was definitely able to crack much simpler. This one took a little bit more force. I can feel it under the hammer. It was a little bit heavier for it to crack. So if I used a little bit less force on this one, I'm sure it would crack as well. This one took me 2 tries of equal force for it to crack. This one took me also 2 tries of equal force for it to crack. However, it did cause an internal crack by the first hit of the hammer, which then I was easily able to separate it with my hands. This one took 1 try right in the middle for it to crack. Well, that is the end of this video. I really hope you guys did enjoy this little experiment. I know that it was very interesting to see what will happen with all of these 5 different materials and finishes. By far, the one that took the most damage was the marble tile because it left a lot of stains here. It was really easy to crack. But anyway, I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel if you are new. If you guys have any suggestions on which videos you would like to see next, leave them in the comment section down below and I'll be sure to make them for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video.